Aryna Sabalenka jokes she'd destroy everything as she and Ben Shelton give their verdict on tennis new rage rooms. Ahead Indian Wells, Ben Shelton and Aryna Sabalenka weighed in on off-court trend reshaping conversations around emotion and privacy in tennis. The idea of smashing rackets in private rather than risk fines and viral backlash seems to have struck a chord with two of tennis' most prominent personalities. Ahead of the BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells, Ben Shelton and Aryna Sabalenka were asked about the growing trend of rage rooms at tournaments. Both made it clear they would not shy away from stepping inside. Sabalenka joked that she might leave nothing standing, while Shelton admitted he has some anger to let out. The Australian Open controversy that sparked the movement. The concept of designated rage rooms gained traction earlier this season following controversy at the 2026 Australian Open. American star Coco Gauff was filmed by hidden behind-the-scenes cameras while smashing her racket in what she believed was a private corridor. The footage spread quickly online and sparked a debate about player privacy and emotional space. Veterans such as Novak Djokovic and Iga Swiatek argued that players are under constant surveillance and rarely get a moment to process defeat away from cameras. In response, the ATX Open in Austin, Texas, introduced a camera-free, soundproof space where athletes could vent without risking fines for on-court unsportsmanlike conduct. Similar initiatives, including a commercial smash room truck at the Dubai Tennis Championships, followed as tournaments experimented with ways to address mounting mental health concerns. How did Aryna Sabalenka and Ben Shelton react to the idea? Against that backdrop, Sabalenka laughed when asked whether she would step inside one. "Oh, that's cool, let's do that," she said before joking, "but I think after me there will be nothing to destroy." She continued the playful tone, adding, "I would be there the whole day." Shelton, meanwhile, admitted he had not yet looked into the details but sounded open to the idea. "I mean, yeah, probably," he said with a smile. "I probably would use it. I have to look at, I didn't hear about it or see anything about it, but yeah, I'd probably use it. Yeah, I've got some anger for sure." On the court, Shelton is set for his fourth career appearance at Indian Wells. The eighth seed has been awarded a first-round bye and will open his campaign in the second round against either Riley Opelka or Ethan Quinn. Sabalenka, meanwhile, is preparing for her seventh outing at the tournament. As the top seed, she also received a bye into the second round, where she will face either local wildcard Alicia Parks or a qualifier. When you picture a tennis superstar blowing off steam, you probably imagine extra practice serves, an ice bath, or maybe a long walk with headphones in. But if you ask Aryna Sabalenka, her answer might involve something far louder and far more destructive. Recently, as tennis' newest off-court trend began to circulate, so-called rage rooms, where people pay to smash plates, TVs, and furniture to release stress, Sabalenka didn't hesitate with her verdict. She laughed. Then she joked she'd destroy everything. And honestly, no one who's watched her play was surprised. The power behind the personality. Sabalenka has built her reputation on controlled chaos. Her game is thunderous, serves cracking past 120 miles per hour, ground strokes struck with the kind of force that seems to shake the baseline. When she steps onto a court at US Open or Australian Open, the stadium feels different. Louder, electric. Her intensity is not subtle. But off the court, that intensity often melts into humor, especially when she's talking about herself. So when the topic of rage rooms came up, those controlled environments filled with breakable objects and protective goggles, Sabalenka grinned and delivered her now viral line, "She'd destroy everything." It wasn't said with menace. It was said with the self-awareness of someone who knows her reputation precedes her. Enter Ben Shelton, the calm counterpoint. Standing on the other side of the conversation was Ben Shelton, one of the ATP Tour's most exciting young talents. If Sabalenka represents explosive power wrapped in a playful personality, Shelton brings smooth charisma and a relaxed grin, even when firing 140 miles per hour serves. Asked for his verdict on rage rooms, Shelton's response felt measured. Curious. Amused. You could almost see him weighing whether smashing a television with a baseball bat would improve his backhand. Together, The two created a contrast that tennis fans love, Sabalenka joking about total annihilation, Shelton sounding like he might politely break one lamp and call it a day. Why rage rooms even matter in tennis? Tennis is an individual sport. No substitutions. No timeouts to hide behind teammates. When something goes wrong, you are alone with it. And emotions? They don't whisper. They explode. Sabalenka knows that better than most. Early in her career, her raw power sometimes collided with raw frustration. Double faults piled up. Matches slipped away. Her reactions were visible. A shout, a glare, a muttered phrase toward her player box. But over time, she evolved. She worked on breathing, on emotional resets, on smiling through tension. The transformation helped carry her to Grand Slam titles and world #1 status. So when she jokes about destroying everything in a rage room, it's layered with irony. The athlete who once battled visible frustration has learned how to harness it. The rage room becomes less about losing control and more about laughing at the idea of it. The imaginary scene. Picture it. Sabalenka walks into a rage room wearing protective gear. She picks up a sledgehammer. There's a stack of plates labeled double fault. A television labeled bad line call. A printer labeled wind. Shelton stands nearby, arms crossed, smiling. "You sure about this?" he asks. She swings. The plates explode into white fragments. The television screen shatters into glittering shards. The room echoes. Shelton nods slowly. "Yeah, I think I'll stick to meditation." It's comedy, but it's also symbolic. Tennis players carry invisible weight, rankings pressure, expectations, travel fatigue, scrutiny. Rage rooms offer something strangely appealing, permission to release. But Sabalenka doesn't actually need one. She already releases her emotion at 120 miles per hour. Humor is armor. One of the most fascinating things about Sabalenka is how she uses humor. She laughs at her own intensity. She mimics her on-court screams in interviews. She pokes fun at her power. That self-awareness disarms critics. It also makes her relatable. Because beneath the ferocious forehand is someone who understands the absurdity of elite sport, how you can train for months, only to lose a match because of one bad tiebreak. Rage rooms tap into that absurdity. They say, "Go ahead. Smash something harmless." Sabalenka's joke says something deeper. "I know I'm intense. I own it." Shelton's different energy. Shelton's game is also built on power, but his demeanor carries a different flavor. Where Sabalenka radiates fire, Shelton projects cool confidence. When he unleashes his booming lefty serve at tournaments like the US Open, the crowd roars. But his reaction is often a calm nod or a quick smile. In the rage room debate, that contrast was clear. Sabalenka imagined obliteration. Shelton seemed more intrigued than committed.